This production is part of MG Digital's Candid Verse, a series of video shows, events, and activities designed to encourage candid, constructive, and open conversations about difficult topics otherwise shied away from.
What does emotional vulnerability mean to you, and how do you express it in your relationships?
Personally, I hardly express my emotions, so being emotionally vulnerable to someone is not something I've really done. So I believe I'm in my corner, I'm in my shell, so I don't express my vulnerability to my partner or others, because I believe I have to be a stronger person.
For me, all my life, I don't go into relationships with people when I don't see them to be emotionally vulnerable. Until I see some vulnerability on your part, I'm not actually coming for you. So for me, it's a very big deal for me. I should be able to see if I'm actually going to have feelings for you. You're actually going to be in a very committed and intimate relationship. I should be able to see you at your vulnerable moments. For me, that is the highest point of connectivity for me. For me, I think it's very, very important in every relationship.
I am the type who mostly keeps things to myself, my emotions and everything. So I mostly don't get emotionally vulnerable.
Before, I was not really open to emotional vulnerability. I used to think being vulnerable to people make them take advantage of you.
That's a hard topic. I'm not very good with being vulnerable emotionally, so I think I'm not the right person to answer that question.
I feel one has to be vulnerable to get to know the person. Because me personally, if I don't see the other side, your vulnerable side, I feel you are faking to me.
Well, I think if you're going to love someone, you need to be emotionally vulnerable because you need to accept the fact that it's a risk, and the fact that you are sacrificing everything you have to love one person.
I hate emotional people. When you are too emotional, it turns me off. Like,
I barely spoke about my feelings. If you think you can be with me, fine. If you can't, go and marry.
And I don't think I'll be able to open up to you, sexually, because I want to see you in that moment.
I feel emotional vulnerability is more of on a deeper level, opening up to your partner or to whoever you're in a relationship with, just opening up, having conversations, and trying to share your mistakes, your whatever experiences you've had. It's more about connecting, because at the end of the day, you get to connect with your other partner. So it's all about communication and sharing. That's what I think.
Emotional vulnerability is just trusting who you are with. So whenever. So you just do what you're supposed to do once you are with them. So whenever.
You should be tough. So when you are like, why aren't you doing this? I'm kind of the I don't care person in the relationship. I don't normally call, I don't normally say the I love you stuff. So when you do it, it gets on my nerves,
But then, now I think I have come to the knowledge of really expressing myself. It doesn't hurt to be vulnerable. You need to talk in order for people to understand you. They don't get things from your head. You need to speak up. So yes, I think now I'm very open to emotional vulnerability.
It's important to me that my wife and I are emotionally vulnerable, and we are very intentional about speaking with regards to talking about things that affect us emotionally, how we're feeling at any point in time, our wants emotionally. If anybody feels the other party isn't doing well with regards to our relationship. Yeah, I think intentional open communication, and it helps stabilize everything in a relationship.
Emotional vulnerability, I see it as
something that one individual is unable to control, like their emotions very well. And in my relationship, for me, growing up, I tried my best not to rely a lot on people. So I don't really see it in my life. So I don't know whether if it should happen to me, I have a control over it. But as it stands now, I don't really see it in my life. I have absolute control over it.
I think it's when you've availed yourself to your partner, but like he or she isn't able to read you properly. Because women, we tend not to like show much of our emotions towards men. So it's kind of a bit difficult for a man to read a woman. But then if you are more like open with him, tell him how you feel about certain things, I feel that should help.
And that person could wake up one day and say, I'm not feeling it anymore. And so I feel it's something that comes with love. And once you decide that you want to love someone, I think right from the onset, you are emotionally vulnerable, because once that person says, oh, I want this, you have to get it for the person. If that person says, I don't like this aspect of you, it means that you have to either change that for the person and all that. So I think it's part of love, and it's part of it, like every single aspect of love. So that's how I probably see, emotional.